Welcome to Tales of Hope, where every paw print counts. Animal tie in the house, spreading love, hear the sounds. Every week animal stories, rights and welfare in the mix. Step up, take action, we're giving animals a fix. Tales of Hope, raise your voice, make some noise. Change the game for every animal, girl and boy. One world, one fight, let's turn the page. A future for the voiceless, bring hope to center stage.
Very good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're in the world. We have a very wonderful guest today on our show, Suzana Gartner, who is the founder of Animal Law Advocacy, which is a nonprofit dedicating or advancing the rights of animals. Apart from that, she's a very strong animal advocate, activist, and she is an author of the book called A Voice for Animals. She is a very good speaker and a retired animal rights lawyer. And not only that, to add further, she's also a vegan. Suzana, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming, for taking this time to be on the show with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Anil. I'm so deeply honored and excited to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. Suzana, can I take it moving forward? Can I ask you, what was the moment that lit the fire in you to dedicate your life to giving animals a voice through law and activism?
That's an amazing question, and a question that I sat with for a while, actually, because I had to think back to a few pivotal moments in my life, including my childhood, which was obviously incorporating animals and learning about them through storytelling. My first book, Bambi, when I was awakened to animals' lives as a child, 5 years old. And then fast forward to my own relationship with my beloved dog, Charlie, who was rescued from a puppy mill situation, but we ended up purchasing him from a pet store. And it was only then that I started to understand the problems of puppy mills, and then my relationship with him, which led me to question and think about animal rights as a possible vocation in my life. And then fast forward, I became a volunteer. I wanted to do something. I wanted to help. I was young. I was hopeful. So I went to my local shelter and I became attached to a specific dog whose name was Gucci. And he was abandoned and was on the euthanasia list. And he was a beautiful dog, healthy, young. He was 2 years old. He was Pomino. He was a breeder dog that was abandoned. And at that moment, I realized that I needed to do something to change the system for animals. I had been a lawyer at that point. And it was then that I realized that I wanted to dedicate my career to helping animals when I understood that. And my mom ended up adopting him.
I think we all have these moments in our life, which actually changes or makes us pivot to a more stronger advocacy. Because I think even for me, it was the same thing.
What was your moment?
My moment was very simple. When we got, during COVID, when we had the first kid, our first furry baby that me and my wife, we got from her friend. And then we learned, it's like I keep telling people that I am so much evolving and learning from them, because now we have three. Two of them are rescues, and I paid for for one of the rescues I paid, because I was like, no, I'll pay for it even if you want, but don't do what you're trying to do, just discard the baby just because you don't want it anymore. So yes, and the third one that I have is we got her just on the Christmas Eve last year, because that's one of the babies where the compound that she was born in at my mother's place, somebody drove a car over her leg, and no, I mean, I've been dealing with this situation for the last almost 3 years now, and this is where, for me, the pivoting moment was the 6 kids that I take care of now, they are 6. There were 7. One I brought her home. So when uh, this their mother gave birth, that was a very pivoting moment. I was taking care of her almost for a year and a half already, and the other 2 in my mother's compound. But then when the birth of these kids happened, I mean, it was a delay from my side for getting the ABC done up for her. But the thing was, the kind of hatred and the kind of resistance I faced from the people. They were just willing to put them in a gunny bag and throw them away, sort of thing. But I had to fight. I had to get all the legal help. I got attached to two of these NGOs that are there in Pune, who helped me a lot in terms of making sure that these kids stay where they are. And yes, in terms of my part, I've been trying to do my part, what I can to, keep them safe. But yes, keeping them safe is there, but the people still keep doing nasty things with them, And this is not the first case that happened. It was her other 2 sisters had also been driven over, but fortunately enough, it was not that bad for them. And because you immediately take them to the doctor and get the medical attention that they need, so it helps them, it was easier to recover much faster. So for me, that was the moment which actually changed everything.
That's beautiful. That's such an impactful story. Wow, that's amazing. You clearly have a beautiful heart.
Well, I think it all comes from there up.
Yes.
It's all up about.
Absolutely.
Suzana, moving forward, how different is the treatment of animals in Canadian law compared to other parts of the world? And what does real protection for animals look like? That's what we need to all understand.
Yes. So some of you might be surprised to learn that Canada actually falls behind other countries in terms of animal welfare protection standards, laws. So, for example, places like Switzerland, New Zealand have encoded animal sentience, right? So they are recognized as sentient beings. Another example of a stronger place is Mexico, which recently enshrined animal protection in their constitution.
Wow.
And I shared that widely because it was that's so groundbreaking, and it's such an important change to recognize animals in their constitutions. Canada still treats animals like property, like in most places in the world. But there is a province in Canada, Quebec, that does recognize animals as sentient beings. That being said, I mean, there are so many activists and advocates and lawyers, like when I practiced, that do stand up and question, and it is moving in the right direction, I would like to say. And then your other question, for real protection, that means to me giving legal standing to animals, which is something that is definitely needed so that their interests are considered.
Absolutely. I think I would say it's not only Canada. I think in India also we still treat them as properties. I mean, sorry to say that, but that is the fact. It's something that we can't deny. I mean, the way we look at animals in India also, it's the same thing. I mean, and yes, there's been laws and everything that is in place, but I think then we lack the implementation and awareness of these laws, and they are absolutely not that strong for these animals. So I think yes, there is a need. And I honestly, I was really impressed. I was not aware that Mexico has done so much for these, and they take them as sentient beings. So that is really, really something that I think the world should take a leaf out of it, sort of thing.
Yes, and that shows, and the reason I brought up what's happened in Mexico now is because it has to start somewhere. It has to be recognized in the Constitution. Animals need to be granted legal standing somewhere. And then they follow eventually. That's the way change happens, social change. And I like to think of animal rights as a social movement, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And real protection for them comes with what you just said as well, is you can pass all kinds of laws, but the enforceability of these laws is most important. So going back to Switzerland, what I learned recently is I was writing an article for a horse magazine and researched the laws in Switzerland. And although they recognize the sentience, it's the enforceability which is lacking, which is necessary. So it goes hand in hand. So you said it very well.
Absolutely. I mean, the lawmakers can, because as I was talking to my last guest, and she was talking about judiciary in India and the executives who implement those judiciaries. And he said, and she was being very upfront about it. And she said, the judiciary has been doing a lot, but where we lack are the executives who are supposed to enforce these laws. So, we have to look at these two things very separately. I know, what you rightly said, there has to be a social movement. We all are working towards it. But at the end of the day, yes, we need the Constitution and the lawmakers also on our side to be, understand with that same empathy that these animals need to be recognized as sentient beings.
Yes, absolutely. And then to have legal standing is the ultimate goal, so that there can be representation for them in the court system.
Absolutely. Moving forward, you've dealt with pet custody, from what I understand. Dangerous dog orders and estate issues for pets. What do these cases tell us about the society's values, as far as animals are concerned?
Yes, so it was so interesting to start this practice because I didn't know what was going to happen. It was the first proper law firm in Canada, maybe in North America. I mean, I know there were few practitioners, so I don't know if I should say that or not, but certainly no one that I knew that had a full service practice that dealt with, as you said, a range of animal issues. And so what I learned and what these cases taught me was just how much people deeply feel for their companion animals. And then the discrepancy was in that the laws did not reflect that sentiment. Right. So, for example, I dealt with pet custody cases. Actually, that was my first case. I remember when I started my practice of a divorcing couple, which I know it's in another topic that we're going to talk about, but I'm just jumping ahead. I hope you don't mind.
No, please go ahead.
In pet custody. So, I mean, a judge, if it goes to court, would likely treat this beloved furry baby, as we like to call them, as a piece of furniture, as property. However, the clients who were deeply grieving, losing custody of the pet and trying to figure out this dog, who is this dog going to go to? They didn't have children. The dog was their child. So I learned how much the court system wasn't aligned with what they were feeling, what they wanted for this dog. So I ended up putting together a mediated agreement. So when I think of mediation, I think of meditation, sort of a slower pace that involves the parties crafting an agreement that would be in the best interest of their dog. And they were happy in the end.
I think that is what it is all about. It's such an important issue which you brought up, like when couples divorce, it's these furry babies who suffer the most. And,
yes.
Honestly, what you said rightly, the law doesn't look at it or doesn't look at the emotions of these furry babies.
That's right.
It's such a sad state, to be honest. And I know, even if the couples are divorcing, but their love for their furry baby remains the same no matter what. I mean, they might have their differences, but I don't think that differences come out with the furry babies.
No, definitely not. And so that's what I learned through my practice, and especially with pet custody cases. And so in Canada, as I go back to your second question, how does Canada treat animals, including, of course, our beloved furry babies, our own, right? ones that we share our homes and lives with. The good news is that in other places, such as California, Alaska, there is this recognition of considering the animal's best interests in divorce cases, similar to family law. And so then again, you see the movement, you see that it's moving in the right direction. And so that gives me hope.
Yes,
And I would argue that in my cases. I would bring that up.
absolutely. I think,
It's
yeah,
precedent.
absolutely. Because when places like this, like what you mentioned in California and other places where they follow, I think it gives us hope, yes, that there is a possibility and there is a way forward, where we can all coexist. That's what I think. I mean, I think, people like you, me, activists, and all these people who are there, I think we all have a common goal, which says at least let's give them a decent living, a dignity that they are in need of.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, should animals be recognized as legal persons or at least sentient beings in the eyes of law? And the second part of it, what would that change in practice, when it comes to be practicality as well?
Yes, so recognizing animal sentence in the laws is absolutely of utmost importance. It's crucial to legally acknowledge them as living, breathing, emotionally complex beings that deserve legal protection. And even beyond that, that they are unique, that as you said, we coexist on this earth with them. And so that is crucial. And then with legal personhood, it isn't necessarily about, giving them the vote, because obviously that's not what we're looking for. So that's where it gets confused. It's just ensuring that they have representation in the court system.
That's very true. I think, as I was mentioning to you, I think we all need to, bring them on par with human laws, that they are, as what you rightly said, they are a living, breathing souls. And about that, I also have this, which I take it from my spiritual side, is how can we humans question the creator's creation? The creator
Yes.
cannot be wrong in terms of creating them. If you look at even Darwin's theory, the human evolution, how is that we humans look at it so differently and treat it's like a property or a furniture? How can we not, look at our roots and evolve and give them the right that they deserve? That's all I am trying to figure out in this whole journey, to be honest.
Yeah, no, oh, that's so lovely. It's so heartwarming what you just said, and so true. I mean, it's applying these laws that were created so many years ago to modern day society, when so many studies, so much research has been done to prove, if people need proof, to prove animal sentience, to prove their complexity even in their lives, their ability to form social bonds. For example, I have 2 rescue rabbits. I wish I could have brought them upstairs. It would have been so cute to have them. I visualized that. They were rescued from horrible situations, and I have them now. I mean, I have a dog and cat, so I have to keep them separated. But when you think about them, and I see the 2 of them bonded, and you see the love they feel for each other, it's just so heartwarming. And so that's part of the consciousness. So when we talk about spirituality, that's necessary in terms of evolution for animals, and that comes from the sentience, which has been proven time and time again. I mean, there's hundreds of studies that have been done and are still doing. You read these amazing stories.
Absolutely. It's like we humans, sometimes I don't know whether I want to go onto that or not. It's just that we humans, think everything just on this planet Earth belongs to us and we can do whatever we want with it. That's the only,
Yeah.
I think that is the mentality, or that has gone into our brains, that, we can do whatever we want with the creator's creation. So, anyways, that can be a debate for some other time for us between.
Yeah, no, it's very well said, and you know, it's a hard topic, and I don't want to seem like a downer. I just want to bring that up, and of course agree with what you're saying, and that's the root and heart of my book, where I talk about the disposability of animals due to the commodification, the use, right? So what I do blame the Western world. I hope I'm not offending anyone. I'm here in the West of these the you know the money, the profit of animals, which turned everything sideways. It side railed. Factory farming became an industry. Profit over pain, over suffering became a priority. And so for me, for example, I mean, it's all hard to not look away. People might think the opposite because it's all suffering. And then I'm going to say that it's a reflection of our progress and our humanity. Yeah. We suffer as a result. Look at what's happening in the world. Climate change. I mean, it's all one consciousness. And as we reflect and look at what we're doing to animals, we then can do better as a humanity.
Absolutely.
We must do better.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just point one thing to you. It's not only it's not only the West. I'll tell you what, it is across the globe, because I have traveled a lot since 1990. I've trotted almost 3/4 of the globe.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Cool. Have you been to Canada?
No, Canada and North America is one part I was not able to travel to, but yes, I did a lot of work with people from Canada and from North America. But I have, from my experience, I've seen a lot. It is not only the West. I think as humans, our greed for profits and money has gone sideways, and we don't look at the pain and the pain that we inflict on these beings. And that's where, it's not only in Europe or in America, the factory farming, the kind of things that happen even out here. And I've been talking to a lot of people, and to be honest, because I've been talking to a lot of people, the kind of perspectives that they bring in and the stories they've been bringing in, it's a real eye-opener. And so, that's why I don't think it's only the West that is to be blamed for, it's not only the West. I guess it's more of us humans.
Humans, yeah.
It's the greed that we have for the profits and the money, and that's where we lack a bit of empathy towards these, voiceless souls, or whatever we want to call them.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. You're right, absolutely. I don't have an experience. I'd love to come to India. I hope to one day. It's one of my favorites. So fascinated with India. I actually wrote about, when I talk about the treatment of different species of animals, and when I read Yogananda's book on, the way that cows are so sacred and how they're so abused here, how, in Asia, dogs were being killed for meat, how they're treated like beloved animals when they belong to us. You see, and then I go into this whole belonging, which again is a little bit of an issue because we as humans need to have that attachment. But I understand that because both you and I shared our stories of having developed our own consciousness and love for animals through our own intimate relationships. So there's nothing wrong with that, and that it has to start somewhere, and that's okay. It's just being able to extend that into other animals. For example, homeless animals. When I was a director of the Etobicoke Humane Society just recently, and seeing these animals being dropped off, discarded, abandoned, I mean, it's heartbreaking. And what did they do to deserve that? You see, so it's about extending our love and realizing that all animals across all cultures, countries, right, that they all feel
absolutely
emotion.
Absolutely.
And love.
I think, when it comes to love, I think they have, as humans have to understand that, what unconditional love is. I mean, I can tell you
Yes.
this because since I have 3 now at my home and I take care of another 6,
Wow.
there is a reason why I only take care of the 6 is because I'll be very honest, I come with the thought process or the thought of school where uh, what my pocket can afford is, I want to do that much, is give them at least those 6 good life, a better food and whatever I can in terms of medical, aid that is needed, instead of, trying to take care of 50 or 100 where I know my pocket will not afford it. Let's be very honest. This is something also, this is my school of thought. So that's the reason, a lot of people keep telling me and point fingers at me, and why can't you do more? And I'm like, hey, this is what I can afford.
This is amazing what you're doing. I commend you for that. That's more than most people, I would say. And again, we're all doing something
Yeah.
and doing our part. And you
It-
certainly are. I mean, this podcast is a wonderful platform. And I commend you for that too.
Thank you so much. Anyway,
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you. That is what I appreciate. I mean, a lot of guests like you who come and they realize, it's been I'll be very honest, I'll share just a small thing, which is off the record a bit. But, everybody I've approached for the podcast, they've been so gracious enough because they understand, because we all share that common goal is in terms of raising the awareness for these voiceless souls, and they have been also gracious, to be honest. I really appreciate that. And sometimes I even thank the supreme being, it's like, for guiding us towards that.
I love that. I love that. It's so true. Yeah, it really is. And yeah, this platform is necessary and important because the animals don't have a voice.
Absolutely. And we are the
We
ones
are their voice.
we are the voice. Absolutely.
And that's why I called my book A Voice for Animals.
Absolutely.
That was the reason, because I wanted to help them similar to what you're doing and your podcast. And so we all play a part in this. So I don't think anyone should ever feel I'm not doing enough. I lived with that for many years.
Okay.
And I realized that wasn't serving me very well.
I think, you rightly said, it's just taking those small baby steps, do your part, what you can. And, within that is also a part which you're moving in the right direction. I believe that is what it is all about.
And you don't know the ripple effect you're creating, you see?
Ab-
So, I've learned over the years that something I may have said will make someone interested in veganism, plant-based. My husband's a plant-based doctor, so when he talks about it, it resonates better sometimes than when I do. But another person may be interested in learning about, what are shelter pets like? I thought that I had to go through a breeder, and so it's a ripple effect.
Absolutely. I think, veganism is also something that we can always discuss about it. It's just being, because I always take it from the spiritual perspective, which my spiritual master has been always saying, just to satisfy our taste buds for maximum 3 or 4 minutes, we kill these living beings. I don't think that is the way of life you want to follow. So that, for me, that is what it has been. I'm not 100% vegan as yet, but I've been a vegetarian for almost 35 years of my life, where I have been on this path where killing a living being to satisfy my taste buds, I don't think that is the way of life I want to go with.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, and good for you, and good for everyone that tries. I say even somebody that does 1 day a week, again, I may get criticized for that, but they're trying. Everybody's trying to do their part, but we have to be patient too. And not all of us started out as vegans, vegetarians.
Yes.
But some of us did. And so everyone's on their own journey. And I
Absolutely.
think, believe it or not, acceptance is something that I do work on as a mantra in my own meditation, to accept and to just try to inform, maybe convince, inspire, but not judge.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
yeah, it's not, I find, helpful. But I love what you said, and your spiritual master. Of course, I agree completely.
Thank you.
And I don't understand the necessity, especially now, because the options are just so wonderful, and we're learning about the health benefits. Doctors, so many are becoming plant-based, and through their own research, from a health perspective, it's also a wonderful way to move and live a healthy life and not contribute to the suffering of animals, as you said. Feels
Absolutely.
really good, doesn't it?
Absolutely. What you rightly mentioned, the health benefits are are just immense
Immense.
when it comes to going plant-based or vegetarian. But I think uh, you know the kind of people who are into this sort of business have the narrative that they've sold over these years has been very different. So I think it's going to take a while, but I am sure it will happen today or tomorrow.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. And I mean, India is like such a great country for vegetarian.
I'll tell you what, yes, there
You
is,
know,
but yeah, there
yeah,
are a lot of people who are
a lot
serious.
of vegetarians.
No, not only vegetarians, but there are a lot of heavy meat eaters also in this country. It's not that it's not
Ah,
there.
okay.
So
Yeah.
yes, we are all on our journey. I'm sure,
Yes.
it will happen when the time is right, sort of thing.
Yes. And one act of kindness changes the world.
Absolutely.
One small act, like you saving the dog, the injured animal. I mean, that's an act of kindness. My mom taking that dog that was on the euthanasia list, a 2-year-old, perfectly healthy dog, and giving that dog a good life.
Absolutely. I mean, that is something that we humans, it's a part of our process evolving as well,
Yes.
and it's a part of, it is something that we humans have forgotten is the word empathy. Even though we use a lot of word in it in our conversations, but I think real empathy comes with our actions as well.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it does.
Absolutely.